Matt, thank you very much. Yeah, there's also a great symmetry between the men's and women's coaches at James Madison University. Matt Brady joining us right now into his 7th season. Where's the time gone, Matt?
I wonder that myself. They do go fast.
Once again, unfortunately, coming off a season where injuries seem to play such a major role for you. On the flip side, I guess those injuries did allow you to play a lot of younger players that you're going to have to lean on this year.
Yeah, there's no doubt there's no substitute for experience. I think that while we're still a really young team with no seniors and only 3 juniors, we gained a lot of experiences last year. There's a lot of lessons that we're taking with our team into this preseason, and we're hopeful that we can build on last year, with a lot of these guys.
As we saw earlier, Andre Nation, one of the most talented players in the conference, picked as one of the all-CAA performers in the preseason. But what is his current status right now with your team?
So we're dealing with, trying to hold it, certainly holding him accountable for the events that he was involved with 2 weeks ago, just silliness that he was a part of. And we're going to come out with a statement here in the next day or so with the suspension. Both he and Tom will abide by. Had a lot of conversations with both of them. They recognize, that what they were involved with negatively impacted our team, our program, and our university, and we're dealing with it. We're going to move forward.
I look at your record. Year number 7. 3 of those years you've been there, they've had 21 or more wins. That's quite a good record for most any school. You got some good kids back. The one young man that I thought was going to be a real good player was Kent. I liked him last year. I wonder what you're thinking of him right now.
Well, it's interesting. Last year in the preseason, exhibition that we had, Lou Campanelli, the great former coach at JMU, was in the building and watched him play. And just like you, Charlie, he said, that kid, you got to keep an eye on him, coach. You got to play him right away. You got to play him a lot. He led our team in three-point percentage last year, and he's got a chance to be one of the leading three-point shooters in the league this year. If not by percentage, certainly by makes, because we want him to be a three-point guy. We're not going to play him at point guard. We're just going to let him do what he does naturally, which is score the ball.
And Ron Curry, of course, is going to have a major impact on your team, isn't he?
Yeah, there's no doubt. I think what Ron evolved into last year, I think was maybe the best, certainly in the discussion for best defensive point guard in the league. He spent a lot of time. We retooled his jump shot, and my hope is that he's nearly a 40% three-point shooter, which would be a significant jump for him. And if you add a three-point jump shot to his penetration game, his defense at the other end, you're talking about one of the better, point guards, if not guards, in the league.
And I don't think there was maybe a more intriguing story in college basketball last year than Yohanni Dalembert. I mean, for people who don't know the story, never really played basketball at all. He was in his native Haiti during the terrible earthquake, and he is the half-brother of Samuel Dalembert of the Philadelphia 76ers, so he moved to Philadelphia, and that's literally when he started playing basketball. So we always talk about raw projects, but he was the rawest of raw, but showed you quite a little bit of a glimpse of something special last year.
No doubt. We put him in a game at Delaware. We lost the game, but he had 15 points, 13 rebounds, 3 block shots, and 2 days later he's walking around with a bum ankle and couldn't get through a practice. So he was a freshman. We think he's grown up a lot since then. He's certainly been a tremendously much more consistent player in practice, and you hope that those freshmen make that jump as sophomores that we all talk about as coaches. If he makes that jump, then he gives us an answer in the low post.
Well, Al and I both had one of your players we thought was our favorite for many, many years. He seemed like he was there forever.
I think Charlie was going to adopt him at one point.
Andre Semenoff. I just thought he was a leader by the way he played. He's an interesting young man. How's he doing, and what is he doing
He's
right
doing
now?
Great. I appreciate you guys asking. I forget how many years he was here. Man, he's been here since I've been here. Basically, that's the deal. He's back. He's back in Rush. He's trying to play on a national team. He tried out for a professional team. He's still waiting to find out if he's going to make a professional team. That's always been his dream and his goal. And we're thankful for everything he did for us at JMU. He's a guy that we could use again if there was some crazy rule out there, put him back in our lineup. But he was a terrific guy, and he led us in so many ways. But his heart and his hustle, we'll always remember that.
Matt, you talk about how young you are, so obviously there are a lot of newcomers to the program. One transfer I know that's of interest is Winston Grays from Cincinnati State. We've had a little success before in getting some interesting transfers from.
Right. The last time we took a transfer from Cincinnati State was Rayshawn Goins, who helped lead us to the NCAA tournament 2 years ago in his last and final season at JMU. So Winston Grays comes from the same basketball program. They play a style that we're trying to play very much. We're trying to deny passing lanes a lot. Two things that Winston is a terrific wing defender, and we needed that. And then the other thing that he did for the last 2 years, he scored 1,100 points in 2 years at Cincinnati State, took his team to the national tournament, was a Division II junior college All-American, and did it by making a lot of shots at one end and really guarding the heck out of people at the other end. So he's a welcome junior to our lineup, and only the third junior that we have on our team.
And what about some of the other newcomers? Any particular freshmen that we should keep an eye
Well,
out for?
we have 3 other freshmen. They're all going to play. We're going to play them all. We have a young guy from Dante Sterling from Atlanta, Georgia, that's probably our leading three-point maker right now in practice. We have a very talented kid from Jacksonville, Florida, Hari Hall, who's maybe as talented a player as we brought to the program. He just needs to know. He needs to learn how you have to play hard every day. He's kind of on the same path as Yohani. I think we're going to see great plays out of him, and then days where he's not there. And then the last guy, Joey McLean, has been a significant addition to our team, and will probably start at this point on our team.
And before we let you go, I know there's going to be a fun day very early in the season for both the men and the women. Kenny Burks and the women take on UCLA. And then at night, to wrap up kind of a day-night doubleheader, you get the University of Virginia at the Convo.
Well, yeah, the leading field goal percentage defensive team in the country, the #1 defensive team in the country. They had an unbelievable team last year. They're every bit as good. I mean, they're a Final Four caliber team, in my opinion, and they're a great program. Tony has that team where they want. We're going to learn a lot from that game. It's why we scheduled the game. It's a huge coup for our university to get them in our building. We all know how difficult scheduling is. It's a huge opportunity for our university to come out and hopefully root us on to a great game.
All right. Matt, great seeing you. Good luck this year.
Thanks, guys.
Matt Brady of James Madison University. Let's